Hi and welcome to the channel. Today on the channel I am going to show you how to fletch your own arrows using the Joe Jan multi-arrow fletching jig. It does 6 arrows at a time. I'd like to thank Sean Hoover of Nature's Outdoor and Taxidermy for hooking me up with a dozen of these bare arrow shafts so I could bring you this video to show you what I do to fletch it and the stuff I use. We'll go over the stuff that I use as I'm showing you the video, but I'll put Sean's information and the shop's information right down here. See it? So you guys, if you have any questions, feel free to give him a call. Go out and visit his shop. You've seen a little bit of his shop there at the opening segment of this video. So I'm going to bring you guys over here and show you what I do to set things up here, and we'll get started putting the vanes on our arrows. Okay, this is pretty much everything that we'll be using. We have our clamps, our jig. We do need an arrow shaft that we've used in the past that we have already fletched. I'll show you why. So I'll stick that there. We need our bare shafts, some alcohol. That way we could clean the ends of the shafts. So prior to getting y'all going here, what I like to do is you get a clamp, and because I've used these clamps in the past, I want to make sure they're all free of glue. And to do so is I just get my knife and I'll just run it across to make sure there's no glue on there, which I've already cleaned these off prior to doing the video. So I already cleaned all my clamps off. That's the first thing you want to do. Then what you do is get one of your bare arrow shafts and you will slide it in there. Now this rig is so you can set them up to left or right, however, if you're going to put the helical vanes on there or feathers. But with these clamps, you could either do 3 fletchings or 4 fletchings. Make sure all your pieces here are all in the three fletching system, and they just click right in there. So what I like to do is, once I have an arrow set up in there as so, is I'll turn it to where the one vane is sticking up, and then I'll get my clamp and I'll just stick the clamp on there over the vane like so, and I will mark where the fletching ends up at. And on these clamps, you'll see the fletching ends up right in here. But I've marked my clamps on this side. So, and I'll show you how I mark them. I just marked them with the pencil, as you can see there. And that's how I mark my clamps, because every arrow is a little different. So do it in pencil, that way you won't have to worry about multiple marks on your clamps. So once I have all my clamps marked, then what I'll do is get some shafts, and I would just stick them in there. Make sure they seat inside the knocking bracket, because that's what turns them. Make sure they're all in a button. Well, that was one we already did. Don't be scared to try this yourself, because if you mess up with it, you could always take the vane off, clean the shaft, and start over again. It's not like you're ruining a shaft. So once I got my arrows in there, and there's the first arrows I'll be doing, so I'll just stick the rest of my arrows off to the side and do another run. What I like to do is I'll get some napkins, and I would just place them underneath here, because of any glue drips down on the, it's okay because I'll be taking these shafts off anyway, in case any glue drips down on my table cover here, which I do like using this table cover for video purposes and whatnot. So then after that, I would just get my alcohol, put it on another napkin, and I'll clean every shaft. This way you have a nice clean surface for the glue to adhere to. I've always liked making my own arrow shafts, and as you can see, the prep work you have to do to the arrows, because you always want a clean, workable surface. This way your veins don't fly off or accidentally come off in flight. Yeah, if you guys are ever in the Benton area, give Sean from Nature's Outdoors and Taxidermy a call, or if you need anything mounted, hit him up, check him out. He'll be more than happy to give you a tour of the shop, and the showroom. He has some real good mounts there. Just one more to do here. And you want to make sure they're all set in there good. Make sure you spin them, make sure everything works good. So the veins I'll be using are the blazer veins. I have the yellow and I have the white. My cock feather, which is your off color feather, mine will be in yellow. And what I'll do is I'll do that first. So here's a little trick for you guys. When you're setting up your veins and your clamps, we're using the off color. So what I'll do is I'll put my vein in there, and it doesn't matter which color you use. Right there at the line, because I know that's going to set in there nice. Then what I'll do is get another vein, and I'll put that one up front here, and I'll tell you why I do that. That is because if you don't, and you go to put your clamp down on your arrow, and I'm over exaggerating, it would actually sit like this then, because or like this. Your vein is there taking up space, so what you want is the clamp to come down evenly. Without the vein up front, it would just be like that. This way you don't, the adhesive part gets totally onto the arrow. And I like using Pine Ridge Instant Arrow Gel. And I'll remember, I'm doing the oddball color feather first, or vein first, and here's the white one. So what I'll do is just get the glue, now that our arrows are clean, and you'll see it come up, and I'll just put a nice little bead across the bottom, inside the groove. and I'll hold it there. Now make sure, when you do this, make sure that your arrow is all the way seated in before you push down. And I'll just hold it there for a few minutes, or about 30 seconds. It's been that, I believe, about now. And then I'll just go on to the next one. Now make sure you put your veins in facing the right direction. And I'll put a vein up here so this way the clamp sits nice on the arrow. Now this is a gel type glue, so it doesn't really run. That's why I like it. Smells like a super glue. Then push your arrow in and then just put it down on the arrow. Just hold it there for a few seconds. And I'm pushing down with my thumb here, and I have my finger here. Well, I'm going to finish doing this run of the cock feather, and then I'll show you taking off the clamps and turning the arrows. So we'll be right back. Alright, now that you had your first run set up, I'll take the clamps off. All you got to do is just hold the arrow, pull it off. That one vein will fall off, and there's the vein that you glued on. Now I like using the clamps all in the same, with the same arrow, so I will just place the clamps down in front of the position that I did it in. And it's that simple. As you can see, they're starting to come together. And then all you got to do now is just turn it. And then you'll be ready to run your next color, which now I'm done running my cock feather or cock vein. Now my next one will be my regular veins. And it's the same process as what you did with the other veins. Is I get a vein here. I have one here. And this is the clamp that came from there, so I will put that one in there. Now first, what you want to do, and I already know that, is make sure that you have no glue on these. So just scrape off some of the glue that might be on there. And then you put your vein back in. And here is the other vein. We could run that one this way, so we know not to glue that one. Let's just make sure they're all matched, and then get your glue. Run a nice bead down through there. I won't go heavy on these because I'll show you a little tip here. Once you got your glue on there, hold your arrow once again and push down and hold it. Now why I have the Q-tips over here to my left. Well, that is because if you do have excess glue here, you could just clean it up with a Q-tip on each side. There was no glue on there. I didn't overdo it on that one. So then what I'll do is get my next one. Here's my marking down here. Nope, got to check for glue again. And then I'll show you another tip once we get the veins all put back on. And we'll just keep running this process this way. Now just remember to glue the right vein on. If you want, you could use the off color vein up in the front. That way you won't get confused on which one you're gluing then. And then once again, just hold your arrow, push down, hold it there for a couple seconds. And if you see any glue that you think you might need to clean up, just use your Q-tip and run it down the sides. And not much there at all. Well, I'm going to finish running these and I'll be right back. Okay, now that we have our first run of our main feather, same concept as before doing the last vein. I keep referring them as feathers, but they're veins because they're plastic. Is just to remove your clamp. And you'll see the other vein falling. And it's that simple. Now if you guys think that you need to add a dab of glue at the beginning of each vein or in the back of each vein, if you like to do that, you could do that. I will do that after I get a run here and see if I need to add a little bit more glue to the fronts and the backs of them. So once again, all you do is turn them. And as you can see, they're starting to come along. They're starting to look like arrows. Another tip for you is, I don't know if I said this or not, is to never glue your nocks in prior to doing this, because of when you set your arrow on your rest and in your bowstring, and depending on if you shoot with your cock feather up or your cock feather down, depending on your rest, you could tune that or glue your nock on after that. But I never glue my nocks on anyway, because I shoot nocturnal nocks, which I may do a video on that. Show you what it's like to, what it looks like at night with not at night, but in dusk light or dim light shooting with light at nocks. I think it's fun. It adds a little bit more fundamentals to the game or to the sport. Once again, I'm just cleaning off all the excess glue that might have been deposited on the clamp. And it's just making sure your clamps are in the right direction. And then once again, just get your vein. Now this won't go in backwards because that's not the one I'm gluing. Here's the ones I want. It's just slide it in there to the area that you have marked. Then once again, give a nice little bead. Make sure you make a nice even bead down through there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up for you, but don't cut yourself short. Always go to the end of them. And then once again, hold your arrow in position and work your clamp down and just hold it there. I like doing this in the off season because it keeps you more connected with the sport all year round. It's a lot of fun. You can get a couple friends together and have a fletching party to see who can fletch the goofiest arrows. And the reason why I also like to fletch my own arrows is because of the I could do whatever colors I want. They make a variety of colors, and you can customize your own arrows to you. This is my arrow vein pattern, and my friends have different colors. So this way, if we come across another arrow, we know whose it is. Especially when you're practicing shooting together. Once again, just slide it in there. Just hold it. Now if you want, no, there's a little bit of glue there. Just to clean off the excess glue. Now I'll finish running this last run and then I'll show you the finished product. Now that your last set of vanes have been applied and glued to the shafts, we'll take these off. And see how they turned out. You can tell this one I had a little bit more glue on it than the other one so far. And there you go. Your arrow, you just glued your shafts on, or your vanes on your arrows. Let's take a look at them. And here's what they look like. Not bad. You can see a little bit of excess glue on there, which I'll wipe some of the, that looks like a burn mark of that from the glue, because it is like a super glue. Well, I'll just finish cleaning these up. And as you can see, here's the old one, here's the new one. Alright, so I'll put these off to the side. Like so. I'll hang the vanes off the side so this way I don't want the vanes to be resting on anything. Because I don't want to crush the vanes until because you really gotta let the glue set up some. So before shooting them, I'll give them a day or two, probably more like 2-3 days before I shoot these. And I'll shoot every single one of these at least one time to make sure they're all correct. And if they're not all shooting exactly the same, either one, my bow's off, or two, my arrow's off. So then now all I'll do is get the next set ready to go. And it's that simple. I have a lot of fun doing my own arrows. And you can too. Just take your time and make it fun. Alright, well, I'm going to finish these up and I'll be right back. Now that wasn't that hard, was it? So, to give your archery setup a little bit of personal look, I recommend you do your own vanes. And here's what mine turned out to look like. You take one of these and turn it into this. I like to thank Hoover from Nature's Outdoors and Taxidermy in Benton, PA. If you guys in the area, stop by, visit him. If you have any questions, give him a call. He'll be more than happy to help you out. So, till next time, give me a big thumbs up. Smash down on that subscribe button. Because driving trucks and hunting bucks is how I roll with Wicked Fabs.